This is simple mathematics, my guy.
Which can also correlate. Which can also
again,
correlate
you're
to,
not disagreeing with me. I don't know why you won't listen to what I'm saying instead of continuing to argue with it that I'm not saying. You can just listen instead of continuing to be so ignorant. You can engage with what I'm saying at one point. At some point, you haven't listened to a thing I've said the whole time, motherfucker. You haven't listened to a single thing I've said. Just listen.
Gills,
it's
not that hard.
Is the MAGA showing Tom?
Hold on. Both of you guys are right. Holy shit.
The MAGA? You're so fucking stupid, bro. You really are one of the dumbest motherfuckers I've ever met. You being a liberal does not help you here. You're just too fucking stupid to listen. You're too fucking stupid to listen. You have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
First of all, that conversation.
I just got invited onto this.
Engage with it in intellectual honesty and not bad.
Knights, it just suddenly occurred to me something, Knights. Listen, Justin, you said you know the Constitution, right?
Hold on, guys, real quick, because Justin hasn't answered a damn question since
he said.
Wait, hold on, Roger, hold on. Maybe he has some backup here because this man is getting cooked. He can't answer a damn question. Tomfoolery. I don't know how long you've been listening, if you would like to jump in or add anything to this conversation.
I literally just scrolled through, and the second I scrolled onto this channel, I got an invite, but I like the topic. I am anti-MAGA, so I'm here for it. So I'll listen for a bit and jump in.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out right now, why Justin is okay with our president suing the IRS. That the U.S. taxpayers are going to have to cover this lawsuit.
Oh, okay. So while I am anti-MAGA, I'll say I do agree with Trump suing the IRS. I am okay with that. I do think that he has an actual strong case.
We're okay with lining the pockets of the U.S. president. That's promises.
So just to be clear, I think that legally, what matters is whether or not he actually has a case. I think in a ton of other areas, he's just corrupt. He's been stealing money from the American people and stealing money from the government and just lining his own pockets across the board. In this one scenario, this is one area where we just don't really have an argument. They did release his tax information illegally without his permission. This is there's just not an argument here.
But my question then, Tomfoolery, is you're saying because his tax returns, because he lied about releasing them multiple times.
Correct.
You're saying because they were released illegally, all of a sudden that's justification for $10 billion that the U.S. taxpayers have to pay?
Well, so whether or not you agree with the settlement number is different than whether or not he has the right to sue. I can disagree with what it is that the courts
in the president's number, because are you saying we have an acting president that finds justification in $10 billion for the U.S. taxpayer to have to cover? That just kind of seems like we have a president. I'm asking more of your opinion here. It seems like we have a sitting president who doesn't give a fuck about U.S. citizens, because he's okay with a high price tag of $10 billion. I think it might be more to sue the IRS for.
Yeah, look, other presidents release their tax returns. Other presidents put their tax information out there. Other presidents release their holdings of businesses and stocks and everything while they're in office. This is something that Trump just didn't do, and he should have, but he didn't. But legally, still, he has a case, and the jury will decide whether or not the amount that he's asking for is justified, and they can lower it or they can raise it. But I would expect them to lower it. I do think that it's a little steep, but I also think that I also think that when it comes to, if you consider the damage that it did, it was pretty bad, because we found out he was lying about a lot of stuff when it came to his finances. He was lying about a lot of crap, so it was pretty damaging for him.
Tom, here's my question. I don't want with the host and all the same thing. My thing is this: he kept going on in 2 different campaigns, saying, I'm going to release them. Okay, they were leaked. All right, they were leaked. But my thing is this, like everybody else saying the same thing. Well, if you kept saying you were going to release them, yes, they shouldn't have been leaked, but they're finally released. So why do you need? What's the need for you to sue?
Well, so I would say morally, we were correct. The New York Times was probably morally correct in releasing his tax returns because, 1, he did say he was going to release them. 2, it is public interest to know what it is that his businesses are doing. But
But it shows
that's
he's
the moral
hiding.
case.
In other words, it
But
showed
yes,
that
correct,
was an
correct,
outright
100%.
lie.
Again, I'm not defending Trump as
Yeah.
as his character. Right? He's a horrible person. I'm a Democrat through and through, liberal top to bottom. But I also am willing to be like honest and objective about these things. He does have a legal case. He has the right to sue, but he's and
Well,
I think
I
that
would
the New
argue.
York
I
Times
mean,
was morally right in doing it,
I
but
think
the
that's a
IRS was
dangerous.
wrong for leaking it.
I think that's a dangerous narrative to put out that he's in the right to sue because Trump doesn't even have a right to be sitting in the Oval Office, right? Like in any
Well,
other world,
that's a
or any
hold
other
on, hold
political
on,
timeline,
hold on.
like
Just to
you
be clear,
shouldn't you
I
shouldn't even
agree
be
with
in the
you, but
position to
that's
do this.
I agree with you. He doesn't have to be in the presidency to sue, though, right? Like
Well,
he
no, what
doesn't.
I'm saying is though,
He could
what
be
I'm
in jail and sue.
no, but what I'm saying is like I do believe like when this is all done and over, like his presidency, like all of these lawsuits, everything else is either going to be thrown out or there's going to be corporations or companies reimbursed like from tariffs to lawsuits because we literally have a sitting president that's acting illegal in many ways. Carrying out illegal actions in many ways. So
But
I
not
mean, at
this
the end of the
lawsuit.
day, like all of this is null and void.
But hold on, I'm sorry. The arguments you're making, everything that you're stating is true, but then you're saying that leads you to the conclusion that somehow applies to this lawsuit, which it doesn't. Like whether or not he has a
Well,
legal
no,
case
let
for
me
this
ask you
lawsuit
this
by
because
itself is the only thing
I
that
don't
matters.
even know. I don't even know. So you're saying was there like some sort of like whistleblower within the IRS that leaked these tax
Yes.
returns? Because from my understanding, there was something that was passed recently that they legally could release his tax returns.
No. So actually, we know exactly who released them. The person has been open with it. I think his name is Charles E. Littlejohn. His last name is literally Littlejohn. And he's been open and like proud of the fact that he released them. Which again, I think like morally it made sense, but legally he's still gonna have to pay the price. And the IRS being the institution that was in charge of this, they're gonna be the ones who have to pay it for him.
Hold on one sec. Yeah, I actually wanted to look into that one. Yeah, I mean, like again, I do think though at the end of the day, like you have a sitting president that's okay with suing the IRS for $10 billion, knowing that the U.S. taxpayer is going to have to cover it. I think that's in a nutshell proves how much, I'm sorry, how little he cares about American citizens.
Well, yeah,
On
like
top of us having to pay back the tariffs.
yeah, like he as a president and just like morally like all this other shit, he is an awful person and what he's doing, morally speaking, is awful. Right. I think what Tom is trying to do is he's trying to separate the moral claim and the legal what was it occurrences that's going to occur within this and what Trump is allowed and not allowed to do, right? Can we make an argument that hey, like when it comes to law and order, it's like hella fucking corrupt and they shouldn't fucking do it? Yeah, we can make that argument, right? We can make that argument 100%. But what Tom is just basically saying is that this is what is going to occur. This is what is occurring.
Oh no,
Well,
I get
not
what
even
Tom's
that. I would
saying,
say
but
this one
well, no, I
instance
was just gonna
isn't
say, Tom.
correct.
No, I get what you're saying. Like he has a legal right to sue. But what I'm saying is if you're talking about if you're talking about him just being a citizen and his tax returns getting leaked, that's one thing. But if you're saying like he's upset because he's the president and he didn't want to look stupid, I do believe that most of these lawsuits are going to be null and void by the time his presidency's over.
You know what
When you
blows
say
my
most of
mind?
these lawsuits,
The fact that he's
that's why
allowed-
I keep asking what do you mean by most of these lawsuits? Because if you're not referring to this one,
Oh yeah,
then
like so
maybe
yeah, like you have like the Wall Street Journal he's suing for because of basically with the whole e-file bullshit, suing the IRS for $10 billion, which is obviously an enormous price tag that he's obviously not going to win in court. I mean that's just two examples right there, and I'm sure there will be plenty more lawsuits to carry out. I mean he's even sued the New York Times. He sued multiple different journalists for I guess what he calls fake news. I do believe most of this is going to be null and void. I think that what I'd hope is that most of the courts find he actually doesn't have any legal grounds to stand on as a president because there's going to be so many crimes that's been done within this administration.
Well, again, I'm sorry. That's just not how it works. Like, you're allowed to be a criminal and sue the government. That's why I keep asking you about the same claim each time you make it. Is that it doesn't
Yeah,
matter. He can be the
I
worst
think you're
person in the
missing my
world.
point. Yeah,
And
so I'll
no,
say
no,
it
no.
again.
Hold on. Just let me just make my
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
so you understand where I'm having an issue. Is that it could turn out that he is totally illegitimate as a president, or it could turn out that he didn't even win the presidency this time. He lost and was found to be guilty of insurrection. But he would still, in that case, have the ability to sue in this scenario. They
No,
don't
but
mix
yeah, but
all
see,
of these up
this
and
is
say
where I
like
think
you're
you're
bad
not.
or corrupt.
Yeah, but Tom, I think you're coming off of just like one basis, like, oh, he has the right to sue. What I'm saying is if his lawsuit is basically saying, I'm a sitting president who's suing because of X, Y, and Z, and they find out to your point, right? Like this election was null and void, something didn't happen or there was too many criminal acts to recognize, certain policies or things that he put in place. I think a lot of lawsuits are going to be thrown out by default because of that.
Okay. I'm just, I'm not, I don't, you're just restating your position again. That didn't make sense. Like, why, what does him being president have to do with him suing? What does the
Yeah,
two
so
have to
in the
do with one
basis of a
another?
lawsuit, if I'm suing as a regular citizen, and that's the basis of my lawsuit, saying, oh, my IRS tax returns were leaked, X, Y, and Z. But
He
if
is
you're
suing as a
basing your
citizen.
lawsuit, if you're basing your lawsuit saying I was the sitting president, they shouldn't have been leaked, and it comes out in the future that because of all the crimes and that his administration has done, and there's some sort of impeachment, I don't think you can create a lawsuit on the basis of being president if you were one impeached or one you were asked to step down or you were found liable of all these different crimes that made your presidency null and void. Whether that's like
So,
hypothetically like a stolen election, if you're
okay.
basing the lawsuit off of being president,
Okay,
if
I
that's
get
what
what
you're
you're saying.
concerned about.
So okay, so I get what you're saying. Legally, there is no difference. Legally, he is suing as a citizen, just the same as anybody else would.
Well, have
Him
we
being
seen
the
the
president
lawsuit in
doesn't
person?
make any difference.
Host, can I ask him one question?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
All right, I appreciate it because it suddenly occurred to me something, Tom. So, as far as the income that a president is allowed when he's a sitting president, is it legal? Because I already know the answer. Is it legal for him to be able to receive anything other than his $400,000 salary?
Yes, it is legal.
No,
It
it's
is the
actually
norm.
illegal.
So
No,
hold on.
no,
The
sir, it's
norm. Hold on.
illegal.
Wait, what? You asked me a question. Let
There
me.
is no,
I'll
no,
answer.
no, no, hold
So
up, hold
so
up.
so
On
hold
that
on.
one,
Just
Tom,
you asked me a question. I want to answer it. If
you're
you're going to
already
interrupt me the whole time, that's fine.
you are
And you can
already
you can.
inaccurately answering
That's
that.
fine. So argue with the inaccuracy of my argument then. So
Mhm.
their norms so far have been that you do get rid of your business holdings. Trump is not the first president to not get rid of his business holdings. He is the first in my lifetime, and probably in all of our lifetimes. But legally, he doesn't have to get rid of business holdings. Legally, he is allowed to make money through his businesses while being the president.
Okay, I just looked that up and actually unequivocally, no, it's illegal. And more so to point to an area of receiving or accepting things from other countries, and I could go on and on. It specifically states that when you are the president of the United States, because I just looked this up, okay, because I wanted to confirm my answer. You're not allowed to receive any monies other than your salary. And he's received, how much money has he made other than the salary since he's been in office just this year alone?
Well,
So
I
hold
think
on.
Tom,
Those are
yeah.
those examples that you brought up are examples of corruption, and those are him using his presidency to make money. That's not the same as him having a business. So I just looked up the same thing.
I'm
Used
not
AI.
looking
Is
at
the
the
president
business.
of the United States allowed to make money outside of his salary? It says yes. The president of the United States is generally allowed to have outside income, though it is strictly regulated by the U.S. Constitution to prevent corruption and undue influence. So this is exactly what I said. You're saying that I'm totally wrong and then you had to keep interrupting me to try to correct me, but this is what I said.
Where's your source? Because my source told me totally different.
So what is what I said? I told you that I looked this up through AI. This also has sourcing from the house.gov and 3 times from the house.gov. But what and Brennan Center for Justice. Where are you getting yours from? You would have to state a law that says this, like just to be
Well, yeah,
clear.
I'm going to pause for a minute and go back on. I'll pull the source because I just looked it up. I'm not going to tell you something randomly out, that, or I don't have the answer. I just guessed. So if you give me 1 minute.
May I ask
Okay.
a question though? Do you believe, because again, I would hope that this administration upholds, the law and everything. But do you believe? Because again, this is more of just like a question, right? I'm not trying to do like a gotcha thing. Like actually, like I'm actually genuinely curious because I personally don't have like definitive proof, right? Do you believe that this current administration has done or is willing to do things outside the Constitution and use corruption to do so?
100%, and we do have definitive proof. Like we had it before he even came back into this presidency. We had definitive proof from his first term, and we have even more. He's been doing illegal actions at like 10 times the rate that he did it in his first term, because everybody in his first term, all of his cabinet was fighting against him and trying to stop him and slow him down the whole time. This time he got nothing but yes men who are all just going along with whatever it is that he wants. So
Right. And you would say that based on, because like I looked it up too, because I'm like, I know that there's certain clauses, like for example, like Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8, if you want to be more specific. It says no person holding in any office or of profit or trust under the United States shall accept any present was it emolument office or title from any foreign state without the consent of Congress. Right.
correct.
So
that's the emoluments clause. That
Right.
is saying that they're not allowed to receive money for their job. So like the money that the plane that Trump got from Qatar, that falls under the emoluments clause. Yes, that is what we would consider to be some sort of bribe or possible bribe to where it would be considered illegal, but he did it anyways.
And would you say that because of this current administration being full of yes men, that I'm not sure what the future is going to hold, whether or not it's going to be a flip around and they sue the crap out of him about all the things that he's done, or they're just going to sweep it under the rug. I wouldn't be surprised if it was the second one, knowing our country. But would you say that if just generally, like curiosity wise, would you say that there is anyone in power outside of Congress that is able to implement him in his crimes?
Yes. So that is, well, so when you say outside of Congress, no, not really. Like there's while the president
Like the
is
UN,
the president.
for example.
Yeah, not the UN doesn't really have any sort of jurisdiction over anybody. There's and there are some like treaties that a bunch of different countries have signed on to say that the UN has some authority over them, but the United States is not one of those countries, so there isn't really anything there. But it would have to be Congress overall, which is why like Trump had a bunch of charges coming into this administration that got dropped from not just the federal government, where he's in charge of the DOJ because they're under the executive branch, but the charges within Fulton County as well also got dropped, just because you can't tell the president where he has to be and you can't have somebody else in charge of him. Like imagine giving the president like a probation officer where he has to come and pee in a cup once a week. Like you can't tell the president what he has to do. You can have anybody
that
else in charge
would
of
be
them.
unconstitutional at that point.
I want to clarify because I wanted to read into this fully. So yeah, like back in actually November 22nd of 2022, the Supreme Court actually okayed the handover of Trump's tax returns to Congress. So these actually were not something that you just necessarily had to leak. They were already readily available. I think you could argue that someone in the IRS didn't safeguard, but this is obviously more politically driven, as you can see. Like, but he was
handing it over to Congress is not the same as it being. Yeah, handing it over to Congress. So
no,
they said that he could.
Hand it over to Congress.
They didn't say
that.
They said that they
could.
The yes, they said
no,
that
no.
they
This
could.
was no. The Supreme Court. No, it was the Supreme Court okayed the handover of Trump's tax returns to Congress.
I'm trying to. I don't know why you keep saying no. You're not listening to what I'm saying, and you're not disagreeing with me.
But Tom,
so
every time I
finish my statement,
you
please
like interrupt within 2 seconds. I like if you
because
let me read the whole thing, I could actually make it much clearer to you. But it's just you got to give me a second here. Yeah. So what it basically says is that lower courts agree that the committee has broad authority to obtain tax returns and rejected Trump's claims that it was overstepping and only wanted the documents so they could be made public. So this was something the Supreme Court a-okayed. Trump had yet to turn it over, even though he was legally supposed to, after the Supreme Court ruled it. So if this is the case, all in all, like this lawsuit would be thrown out because it was something that's supposed to be made public anyway, ruled over by the Supreme Court.
But would you, so just for the argument's sake, right? Because if there was a case where he was supposed to legally hand it over, wasn't there a time limit? Wasn't there a time limit on that?
Well, I mean, knowing
just
Trump, knowing
question.
Trump's lawyers, they probably sued or found a way to, create a temporary lawsuit against it, so he didn't have to release it. But by the Supreme Court's ruling, which we know Trump loves listening to the Supreme Court, essentially he never turned them over. But this is something that should have been deemed public a long time ago. This was during his first term, the Treasury Department refused to provide records Trump's tax returns under his first term in the Treasury Department, and we know how that went under his first term with some of the loyalists.
So the only reason why I questioned there was like a timeline or anything, because like, for example, if I was let's just say if I was like in a court case like this, right, and I had a time limit for me to put in legal documents of like my tax forms, right, and then someone from like outside of the court took them out, right, that would be technically illegal because it's not within the court, right? Like I feel like yes, he's supposed to, and yes, he was going like again, he's supposed to legally, right? But if someone outside of the court said, "Hey, yo, I got this, here you go," that would be considered illegal. We can argue that it can be a disagreement, right?
Well, yeah, that's up to a judge.
Yeah.
Like we're just on TikTok. It's going to be up to a judge to decide, But I think if it's something you can't, it would be hard to argue for any lawyer to basically say, "Oh, they leaked it," when it was supposed to be public anyway. Trump wasn't handing those tax returns over.
The issue, at least when I'm pertaining to, is just like within any other legal context, if there is a certain document that's supposed to be handed over to the court and then someone outside the court leaked it to the public, then that would be technically illegal. Yeah. Like even
Correct.
though I might not agree with it, even though I may not agree with it because I don't like Trump, right? But like from a legal objective standpoint, that would be considered illegal.
Well,
So,
could you argue
just to be
though
clear,
for the Supreme? Oh, wait, real quick, Tom.
hold on, just
Could you argue,
there's
though, if the
important
Supreme
details you
Court-
guys are missing. Just real
Wait,
quick,
Tom,
there's really important details. I promise you this changes the whole argument.
All right, can I
this
just
is what
make
I've been
my
trying.
point real quick, or is that all right?
Okay, sure,
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
I just wanted. Yeah, just give me a second, Tom. I just want to say, like, obviously, I get what you're saying, Knight. Like, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying if a judge might look at them like, well, these were supposed to be made public anyway. So, I mean, at that point, the lawsuit should be null and void.
Okay, so they weren't. This is why I was saying this changes the entire argument. The problem is that these were released in 2018. I believe the Supreme Court decision you're talking about was like 2020, maybe.
No, mine was in 2022 under Biden's administration.
Okay, so 2022, so even farther out, but these were already released before that. Right, that further makes my point more correct. That if this person already, listen to what I'm saying, please. You're misunderstanding somehow. These were made public.
Tom, you're kind of going in back.
Please,
numbers.
for the love of God, just listen to what I'm saying. These were
Tom,
released in the New York Times. These were released in the New York Times in 2018. I'm just trying to make sure we're on the same
page because I'm looking at something in 2022. You're talking about 2020.
No, okay, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. Okay, they were released in 2018 in the New York Times. Okay, in 2018. So regardless of whether it's 2020 or 2022, it doesn't matter. These were released before that decision was made.
Yes,
these
Tom,
were.
If the Supreme Court ruled in 2022, that absolutely does matter. Comparing it to a different case in 2016, these are two different timelines, my guy, and two different.
Hold on, I'm sorry.
Two different administrations.
Just so I understand, I know that you understand what my argument is. Can you just repeat back
it's
to
not
me
really
like,
an argument.
the point of my
the
argument
Supreme Court okayed in 2022?
No, I made an argument, and I'm asking you to repeat back to me what my argument is. So I know that you understand why I'm saying this.
You didn't really make an argument, Tom. You're trying. I think you're getting your timelines confused.
So okay, just.
Oh my goodness.
So we just go.
There's
so
no
we don't
way.
get lost in the weeds. So we don't get lost in the weeds. Okay, let's not get lost in the weeds because I got it with Tom. I got it with you. Okay, just to not get lost in the weeds. Let's do a clarifying question. Okay, because your article says from what year? Just to clarify, what year?
Are you asking me?
So they released it. Yes, they released.
Let's go with the host for hold on. Just
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's go.
mine is
Let's go
clear
with
as
those, sir.
day. Yeah, so
Okay, so
during
what
the,
date? What date was
yeah,
yours?
mine is November 22nd, 2022 under
Oh,
Biden's administration.
okay, cool. So Tom, what is your date?
So I'm agreeing with that, and I'm saying it literally doesn't matter as long as it's after 2018. That's all that matters. This was made public in 2018. So where he's trying to
Got
make the
it.
argument
Okay.
that, well, is that if the
Wait,
Supreme
hold on,
Court
Tom,
made
what
this
was made
ruling
public?
that they hold on, let me please get through a sentence. If he's making the argument that that if the Supreme Court says this can be made public and then it is made public, well, the Supreme Court said it could be. But if the Supreme Court says it could be 3 years later,
What?
4 years later, 2 years later, a day later, it doesn't matter. They did it illegally at the time that they did it. The Supreme Court made a different decision later on that did not apply to this at the time. So it's totally null and void. As long as it happens after the article is released. That's all that matters.
I gotta be no. What you just said, and I mean this. What you just said made zero sense. During Trump's first term, the Treasury Department had refused to provide records of Trump's tax returns. So fast forward to 2022, it absolutely does matter in context here because the Supreme Court okayed the handover of Trump's tax returns to Congress to then be
Correct.
made public. Trump then
Correct.
is basically, with his little MAGA lawyers, are basically saying, no, this shouldn't be, and delaying and either that or refusing, because we know Trump loves to listen to the Supreme Court to turn over his tax returns. Obviously, you're not going to lock a guy up for that. You can't lock him up because they have his, it'd be one thing if he just wasn't paying taxes, but he's just not releasing his tax returns. So if that's the case in any lawsuit, right, this is very important here. In any lawsuit, if something was deemed to be made public by the Supreme Court, you can't argue that it was leaked because legally it was sure to already been to the public. This is obviously going to be up for a judge to decide, but legally, these documents should have been open to the public. It was Trump, who loves to listen to the Supreme Court so much, that refused to release them.
But it had to be through him, correct? Wait, just clarifying.
Correct. No, yes, it would have to be through Congress.
If it's made public, it's just in the IRS database or whatever.
Wait, but does it have to be through Congress? That's
yes, it has to be through Congress. Yes,
well,
the Supreme Court ruling was that they had to give it to Congress, not that it had to be made public.
That's the context that's not really clear, because saying that you have to hand over tax returns to Congress so they can make them public, I guess, like, if he's refusing to follow the law, I mean, that's a whole different lawsuit in itself. But I mean, at the end of the day, these were supposed to be made public, ruled by the Supreme Court.
And the only reason why is it saying that what happened with the leak was illegal is because it's not going through any kind of legal jurisdiction that was supposed to be, right? We can have a moral argument whether or not this is good or not, right? Because I feel like that's what it's usually going to portray, whether or not this is going to be, like, again, like moral or not, right? But that's just, we're just talking from a legal objective perspective. That's it. Because once we start being like, hold on, just let me finish. All right, sorry. Just like, if we're gonna argue whether or not it was supposed to be open anyway, cool. I understand that. I agree with that. It's supposed to be handed out anyways. Yes, but it should have, at least from a legal standpoint, should have gone through the Congress for
Correct.
it to be released. That's it. Yeah,
that's it. I mean, this is something that obviously a judge is going to decide on, but I think you could easily, especially if he doesn't control the House of Countersuit, that would outweigh his little $10 billion he's trying to get from taxpayers, saying, well, you didn't do something legally, so you need to be sued now. I don't know, breaking the law, whatever lawsuit they could come up with. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, we have someone that essentially broke the law, is crying about something dumb as illegal. But in all reality, the person who did something illegal was Trump, if he's not abiding by the Supreme Court and handing over his taxes.
So he did, just to be clear. So this was a battle, like this was the Ways and Means Committee initially subpoenaed Trump's tax returns because of a specific crime that they thought was committed. So it wasn't so that they could make it public, like you keep saying. That was not the reason for it. Now their records are public. It ends up becoming public because they requested it. It ends up being automatically a public document, but they weren't requesting it so that it could be public. They were requesting it because they were investigating whether or not the IRS was actually auditing Trump's tax returns during his presidency, and whether or not he was trying to stop them from auditing him. But she is, I can't see your name on here. Is it, what does,
you can just say Knight.
Knight. Okay, so Knight is correct, though, that like the legal process is all that matters. When the Supreme Court makes the decision is not you have to hand over, IRS tax records so that they can be made public. Their decision is, if you are subpoenaed for these records by the Ways and Means Committee, they do have the right to request these records, and you do therefore have to hand them over. But that's a
Which he did
totally
not
different
do.
scenario.
No, no,
yes,
no,
well,
Tom,
they
I
did
think you're
eventually
getting
get them.
confused, though.
They did eventually get them, but the problem. Hold on, please, for the love of God, let me finish this single
Tom, all right, dude, you gotta watch your
eventually.
neck, bro, because you just keep getting mad.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not getting mad for no reason. You interrupt me every time I start
but Tom,
talking, and
because I think
you're
what you're doing is you're
misunderstanding
getting
what
off
it is
track
that I'm
from
trying to get to.
Tom, I think you're getting off track with the conversation.
I'm not. I haven't
It's not
finished
off
what I
track,
was
bro.
saying.
This is on the thing. Like, if you want to talk about, like, rather not this legal case of him suing the IRS for $10 bajillion or whatever the fuck is going to be cool or not, I don't know. We could talk about that all day, but we're talking about specifically from the legal standpoint of what is going on and how it got to that point. That's it.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's
no,
it.
Yes.
and that's what I'm trying to.
That's
That's what
it.
I'm trying to give the gist of. Is
That's
you
it.
can't sue. You can't sue if something was supposed to be made if something was supposed to be made public anyway, and then cry it was leaked. Like, this is something
legally,
that the Supreme
you're
Court ruled was
incorrect.
supposed to be public.
That legally they didn't, though. They, at the time that it was released by by the New York Times, the Supreme Court had not made that decision, and the person who leaked them has been put in jail in 2024. He was sentenced to go to jail for this crime. So it's after all of this, after the Supreme Court ruled in 2018.
Okay, you're talking about two different timelines again. That's what I think I'm talking about.
Oh my God.
You're talking about. I understand what you're saying. You're saying the New York Times released Trump's tax returns. They shouldn't have did that. Okay, that was before the Supreme Court made the ruling. No.
Yes, that's what he's suing for.
No, he's suing the IRS right now. He's suing the IRS right now because he's basically saying, okay, well, you keep saying correct, but then you're saying something totally different.
No. He's suing the IRS for releasing his tax returns when.
Tom, I'll use your words. For the love of God, let me finish. He said, he's literally saying, I'm suing the IRS, him and his sons, because he was supposed to safeguard, quote unquote, the IRS was supposed to safeguard those tax returns or whatever his taxes were. You're talking about the New York Times. These are two different things. Two different.
It's not. It's not.
Absolutely.
It's not. Okay, so listen. Wait. Okay, so just let me ask you a couple of questions, and then we'll clear it up real quick. Okay. So
Tom,
he's suing just please answer the questions, and we'll clear it up. I promise.
Yeah, go for it.
Make it very clear.
But just make sense.
He's suing the IRS. I'm asking you questions. You're the one who's got to make sense. So he's suing the IRS for releasing his tax returns when and to who?
Okay, I'll say
when did they release them,
and I want to be very clear,
them
Tom. Yeah. So I want to be very clear. This has nothing, 0% to do with the New York Times. Are we cool on that, right? We can. I don't want to hear anything about the New York Times anymore, XYZ, because no one's brought that up besides you.
You're incorrect. No, that is the court case.
Okay. Now he's not making sense.
Okay. So if that is the case, can you explain why the New York Times mattered? When it comes to him suing. Okay.
Yes. So Lil Jon is the person who works for the IRS who released his tax returns illegally. He released them to the New York Times, who ended up publishing his tax returns publicly. So that happened in 2018. That's what Trump is suing for. Is 2018 they released his tax returns. Lil Jon was part of the IRS. He was the one who released them.
And because it went through the New York Times, they're also getting sued. Correct?
I don't know I don't remember if they're getting sued or not. I believe they're supposed to be eventually, but currently he's suing the IRS because Lil Jon worked for the IRS at the time. He's suing the IRS for allowing it to be released.
Cool. And the reason why it was such a big, huge thing is because it went through and was published through New York Times, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
In 2018.
Okay. All right. Do we get it? We're locked in. We got it. We good? We got the timeline. We got it.
I'm trying to actually see where like Lil Jon had any correlation to New York Times.
Okay, so he leaked it.
No. Well, if I could just say, I'm trying to see. Yeah, you're saying Lil Jon leaked it, and the New York Times published it.
Yes.
I'm just trying to see where there's an equation for that. But like I said again, you could, if it's a previous lawsuit or something that happened in 2018, that's fine. And obviously we're just on TikTok, but I think it's going to come down to the judge that basically says, well, this is a public document anyway. This person already paid their $5,000 fine, served a 5-year sentence. The IRS, because they had one bad employee, doesn't mean that they should be held liable for something that's now public. I understand your standpoint. You think Trump should win X, Y, and Z.
Whoa,
But I
no one
think
said that. Oh, no
I'm
one said
sorry.
that. No one said that. Oh, no one said that.
I
No,
did.
no, Tom said
I
it.
did.
No,
I
you
did.
say it.
I did say
Yeah, you
that.
said it. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay,
did
never
say
mind.
it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
about to be like, whoa, I didn't say that.
No,
Whoa.
no. I
We-
get what you're saying. Like he should be able to sue X, Y, and Z, but I think a lot of it's just going to come down to like, well, the document's public. If you want to sue that individual who's already been fined $5,000, but I think if you would have sued the IRS ahead of time, not after the document was made public, this would be a different conversation.
Well,
Well,
it matters
but-
what happens at the time. So, like, at the moment that it happens, it matters in that moment. So, like, even for Trump's E. Jean Carroll case, we'll use this as an example. At the moment that, like, the essay happened with her, the New York laws were very different at the time, where that is considered just like a sexual harassment SA
that's
sort of
tricky.
scenario. Whereas today, that's considered grape. Like under New York law, it is drastically different and a much harsher penalty. But they have to use the past law of the time when it was committed, and that is what he's going to be held liable for. And so that's the way the law works: is the law at the moment that you commit the crime, that is what you're being charged with.
No, actually, in the case in New York, they actually extended. Well, they actually, with certain laws, like one, in order to come forward with a case of like say essay, they actually extended it. So that's one of the reasons Eugene Carroll was able to sue Trump.
You're just talking
but
about
not
the
every-
statute of limitations. That's
Yeah,
different
the
than what
statute,
I'm
but
talking
there was
about.
there's other pieces of like the law that was changed outside the statute of limitations. I get what you're saying, like, but that's not inherent. That's not entirely true due to the adjustment of
Yeah,
those
but that
laws in
didn't
New York
apply to his
State.
case. Changes in the law didn't apply to his case outside of the statute of limitations being extended.
Are you 110%
Everything else
sure
was-
about that?
Yes, 100. Yes, I'm a media figure. I cover politics on my channel. I cover these cases extensively and have covered them for
I mean,
years.
he still was sued. I mean, he lost in court. He had to make
Oh
the
yeah,
suit.
no, he
Correct,
still
yes.
lost. Yeah,
Like,
it's just
yeah.
it
That's the
was just,
point. Yeah.
yeah, he still lost.
It's just
though,
what
but
he
it-
was held liable for was a different label, because in 1994 we weren't as progressive with the laws back then as we are now, and so the laws now would call it grape, but the laws back then did not. And so yeah,
which we would still say colloquially speaking and within the law that's currently being
Yes.
upheld that he did indeed grape
grape.
Carol.
Yes.
Yeah, he did grape Carol, right. That's what he's basically saying, is that colloquially speaking that he did do that. Yes, it's just unfortunately the time that it did occur, the state did not label it as such, but until what year,
It
2020,
was
24.
no, that was 90. Oh well, the court case, yes. The case
No,
was
no,
in
no, when it
2023.
was updated. No, when it was updated to grape.
Oh, it was updated. Oh, that was
Yeah, like when
early
it was
2000s.
updated. Yeah. So, and that's the only thing that was very unfortunate, is that I wish that our laws were, well, progressive like it was back then. I wish that was the case. That's the thing that sucks.
Are we just gonna ignore the big ass cock in the comments?
Never mind. It's not there. It's muted. We are going to ignore it. Yeah, it's exactly what we're going to do.
I mean, it's in my face, dog. Like, what do you want me to do?
I don't
It's so
know.
rude.
Be
Open
who
your
you
mouth.
are for your pride. Like, I don't know.
Or
I don't
just
know.
open your mouth, dude.
I don't know. It's either you're like, hey, yo, I don't swing that
Wait,
way.
is that a Mustang?
Or,
Hold
or,
up, is that a Mustang? Nah,
You
nah,
said
throw that
But-
shit away, bro. Throw that shit away,
You
dog.
said
But
big
yeah,
ass what?
Yeah, the only reason that
Wait,
I
who
brought
is
up the
you-
Eugene Carroll
Wait, who
case
is you
was
talking to,
just to
cuz?
say,
I'm talking to you, bro.
What was you talking
He's just
to,
he's
cuz?
just awake. He's just
That's
awake.
not even a 5.0, bro.
But were you sorry? Were
It
you
was
saying,
a
Tom?
5.0, you fucking idiot.
Oh my
What the
God!
fuck
that's
you
cute.
talking about?
Hey, that's
Oh my
cute,
God, who
dog.
cares?
yeah,
Who cares
the
about-
only reason that I brought up the Eugene Carroll case was just to say that, like, this is the way that the law works. Like, legally, we have to hold people accountable for the law that they broke at the time. So if, like, at one moment we have somebody who's committing a crime and then they get caught for it 5 years later, they can't be held accountable for any updates to the law that happened within that 5 years. They can only be held accountable for what the law was at the time that they broke it. And so that would still apply to this case, where at the time when the IRS agent Little John released the information, there was no Supreme Court order saying that they had to hand it over to the Ways and Means Committee, which again would be different when it comes to what the Supreme Court actually ordered. Was not that they had to make it public, but that they had to hand it over to the Ways and Means Committee. But the point is that they hadn't even made that decision yet. It was this happened in 2018. They made that decision in 2022, and so it wouldn't apply whatsoever, which is why he was convicted in 2024 for releasing Trump's information.
I think it's going to come down to a judge, obviously, but I think if he would have started his lawsuit after the fact, before the fact that it was supposed to be made public, this might have been a different conversation. But I think many judges are going to look at it like, well, you already sued the New York Times. This person already served their sentence. The IRS is a separate entity now from that individual. At least under the normal circumstances, that's what should happen. I don't think there should be a $10 billion price tag given to our president, to the United States, from the U.S. taxpayer.
Well, we'll just see what would have to happen, because right now it's kind of just, a statement. We just got to see what's going to happen. I think it does suck, right? I do think that this grown ass baby man should not be in the office, right? Especially with all these stupid ass lawsuits and these stupid ass shit that's happening, right? We just got to see what's going to happen.
Well, if he was an adult, he would have just released it himself in the first place, like every other president does.
But no, he's just a giant baby man. Like, he's like, no, I don't, no, and you mean, like, come on now. Like, if you're gonna be a bad person, do it honestly. Come on now.
Well, I think at this point he's pretty open about his intentions. Like, the day that the Supreme Court ruled his tariffs illegal, he's like, well, I just have other ways I can do it now. He's just someone that, if one pushes the bounds of the Constitution or just says, I'm not going to obey the Constitution until the Supreme Court comes in. Essentially how he's acting. He doesn't give a shit anymore. I think he obviously knows, like, his presidency's coming to close, so.
Yeah, well, and sometimes even when the Supreme Court rules, he still defies their orders as well. He's broken numerous Supreme Court orders in just this term.
Right. And I'm just like, I'm just surprised that a lot of companies like Nintendo and Costco and FedEx, like a lot of big companies are like, hey, yo, fuck you. Why the fuck are you putting illegal tariffs on our shit? And that's not really a good sign, because these are like very, very big companies, very big, powerful companies, going after the United States. And I'm like, ooh, this is I think this is also just like a really bigger picture, is that like, not only are you
Miss Mortician at like, he's getting frustrated with my frustration, and I'm getting frustrated that he's getting frustrated with my frustration. Like, I'm thinking like, bro, this is so fucking simple. You keep saying, dude, you're talking about another timeline. You keep mentioning 2018. Like, holy shit, dude. You've got to be fucking kidding me right now. Like, what the fuck? This is so simple. Like, this is not hard. This happened in 2018, but I'm glad we finally got to the bottom of it, which is why I asked him. I just thought, simple question, just answer the simple question. What are they suing him for? For releasing the IRS documents. And when did they do that? Doesn't matter. No, it doesn't. It happened in 2018. They released it to the New York Times. Like, that's what happened.
Trade, even I think China as well. More trade with Canada, more trade with China outside of the U.S. Like, it's going to hurt a lot of industries. It's going to hurt a lot of pockets, and there is going to be job layoffs because of these.
There is currently.
Yeah, like it's going to get bad really quickly. Like, I mean, I don't know what to make of it. I think we're screwed when the Jerome Powell drops out, because you're going to have a loyalist, essentially, is like the head of our the federal chair. And that's what like really fucking creeps me out.
Yeah, the issue here is that every time we have this type of this is a very new case, but in general within the world, anytime an administration or a group within government power does this type of behavior, their power is lost for generations. Like, this is not like we're just gonna vote him out.
That's what Legend Killer Justin, that was a civil case. So for the E. Jean Carroll case, where they extended the statute of limitations, they only did it for civil cases. That was it.
Again, am I surprised? No, I'm just very disappointed that a lot of them are like, hey, I don't remember who said it. It was a politician saying, hey, if they find out who was in these papers, I'm gonna say papers just to protect your life.
Oh, I don't give a shit. You
That
can say it, I don't care.
You said
well,
so.
just in general, because
No, I've been
ruthless.
shadow banned already on this chat, so I don't really care.
That
Ariana
hey, if
tipped
this is
$2.
released,
You are right.
the system is
The
going to collapse.
2003 Iraq invasion's goal was an ambiguous regime change via ground invasion. If the operation against Iran focuses on precision strikes to destroy missiles/nuclear infrastructure and naval power without nation building.
Yes, I thank you, Arian. It is very frustrating talking to people who have no fucking idea what they're talking about, and they just sit there speaking so confidently. And there's 5 of them versus me, all on that one panel, and the lefties and the righties are all on one page, all on the same side together because they're all just populist. They have the populist fucking brain rot that, oh, everybody hates the United States so much, and dude, Iran, they're just so strong, and this would be, you remember Iraq, it'd be the same thing. It's like, why, dude? The same fucking arguments from everybody every fucking time. It's so stupid.
Shit is this? Like, I honestly don't know enough about him. I started reading about some of his policies recently, but I will say, like, I believe if James Tallarico was like a black Christian man, this outcome would have been a little different. I think the Democratic Party is becoming infiltrated to a degree with some of these quote unquote red people like the Nick Fuentes that realize they've been.
Well, he ran against Jasmine, so
John,
Jasmine
John,
Crockett.
or
No.
John Fetterman. John Fetterman.
Yeah,
who
oh, yeah.
is
Nick
literally.
Fuentes- Hold on. The only reason why
Well, you
Nick
can just say what it'd be
Fuentes-
like for a black Christian woman. He beat a black Christian woman. So
I think no. What is
Who
your
beat
No,
the
term?
black
Jasmine Crockett
Tallarico.
never claimed she was Christian.
No, but yeah,
What?
Jasmine
and on top
Crockett
of
does
that,
Crockett?
She does not. She does not.
she
Yes,
doesn't
she
represent
does.
Christianity
She
the
does
same way
not
Tallarico
push
does.
Christianity.
Yeah.
I've not heard her once bring up
Wait,
Jesus
wait.
or
Yeah.
God.
Well,
dog.
but here's the thing. Here's the thing.
No.
Here's the thing.
I have
Wait,
her.
hold
She
on,
is a
wait,
Christian.
if I could, because I
She-
think Tom, correct me if I'm wrong. You sound more independent. You sound purple more than anything, right?
No, I'm hardcore Democrat. Straight
Okay,
liberal.
so if you're so if you're hardcore Democrat, you would know whether Jasmine Crockett was Christian or not is irrelevant.
She
Because
is a Christian.
She doesn't run on Christianity the same way
Wait,
Tallarico
wait.
does.
Exactly.
Hold on.
And
No,
if you
yes,
don't
no,
think,
wait,
and if
wait,
you don't
hold
think,
on, wait,
Tom, hold
that's
on.
not
No,
what I
let me
said.
finish my point, Tom. No, let me finish my point. If you don't think there's bias in the Democratic Party, where we have active Democratic people, voters saying, "Well, we need to go to clean-cut white man over Newsom. We're not ready for a woman, let alone a black woman." If you don't see those inconsistencies in the Democratic Party, how you claim to be progressive, and we're going backwards with that, you really got to reevaluate.
I didn't say I was
'cause you seem like you got a big
Okay.
platform
Whoa, we didn't say
outside.
that.
Hold on,
Whoa,
hold on.
whoa,
I'm sorry. Hold on.
Whoa.
Two different things. One,
I mean,
I
tell
never
me
said
if
I
I'm
was
tripping.
progressive.
I mean-
You are tripping. So it's 2 things. One, I
Yeah,
never said I was
yeah.
progressive. I never ever said I was progressive. I said I'm a
No,
liberal.
I didn't
One,
say you were.
two.
I asked what you were.
Okay, you said if you are you
I
said
said, are
if
you
you are
independent or
progressive as
purple?
you
I never
claim
said
you
were
are.
progressive.
You just now said if you are progressive as you claim you are. But anyways, the point
I never said that.
What
I said
the
Democrats.
reason I
said Democrats
okay.
claim to be progressive.
All right, that's fine. So
Well, just don't
the
put
second
words in my
point
mouth,
is
man.
the second point is that I brought up Jasmine Crockett losing because you said if somebody ran against a black man, a Christian black man, this would have been a
Yeah.
very different outcome. And I said we don't have to wonder. This literally did happen. I'm backing up your point by saying he ran against a Christian woman. Now she does not virtue signal her Christianity.
Tom,
And so
you
just
do
let me
this
finish
thing-
my argument,
No,
please.
Tom,
Let me
because I
finish
feel
my
like you keep
argument.
trying to go
Your
back- no, you keep
argument.
trying to go
Let me
backwards
finish
with
my
your
argument.
comments.
No, I'm
No,
not.
but-
You haven't
Please
let me
let him
finish.
finish.
You haven't
but
let me finish.
I love how he keeps trying to switch his words
He's
around.
not.
but
No,
go
he's
ahead.
not.
I'm not.
He's
I
not.
haven't finished.
Tom,
not.
Tom,
So,
okay, look at-
oh
Everybody
my
on
goodness,
here a
please let me
Democrat?
finish. Just please, I
No,
promise,
Tom's
if
not
you let
really
me
a
finish, you
Democrat.
will
Hold
understand.
on.
Tom's not a
He is
Democrat.
not.
Fort,
He's
hey, Fort. What?
Is everybody on here a Democrat?
My boy Fort. I know it's your live, but I kind of do want to
Easy
hear
question.
All right, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
You know you my boy though.
No, I want him to go
Oh
for it.
my
I want him to hear.
God,
I
it's
just don't
all
want him to switch
Democrats?
my words around.
Okay, hold on, Jesse. We're gonna answer your question in a minute. Just let Tom finish, and then we can answer your question. Oh my goodness, go ahead, Tom.
Okay, so as I said, I'm a Democrat content creator. I've got a whole channel of me debating the right. Like this is my whole career. I am a full-time content creator. I'm on YouTube and TikTok. You can check my content. I am a Democrat, but the point is that I agree that like Crockett does not virtue signal her Christianity as much as Tallarico does. He makes everything about his Christianity.
Not
Jasmine
at all.
Crockett does talk about her Christianity, but she's not anywhere near Tallarico, where he makes it all of his his campaign about pointing out the hypocrisies of any Christian who would ever vote for Trump. So I agree with that. I'm just saying that like she is a Christian. That's all I was pointing out.
Yeah, but Tom, you're missing my point. We just what I was trying to get at is when we said that she obviously doesn't televise her Christianity as much as Tellerico.
And I just addressed
what I'm also
that.
trying to get at is there is a sense of racism brewing within the Democratic Party. One, it's always been there, but it's more evident.
That's what I was agreeing with. I was agreeing with you.
No, okay.
The Democrats eat babies,
Tom.
Okay, who is this Jesse dude? Like, what the fuck?
I have no idea. So Tom, here, just say it in layman's terms. You agree that if Tellerico was a black man, he wouldn't have won. Essentially, it would have been Jasmine Crockett.
Yes.
Ooh, that's
what
cool.
I was agreeing with you.
Question,
that's
though.
what I'm saying.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good question, bro.
No, I would. The only reason why. Okay.
I don't know about that.
I would agree to an extent only because I looked up their funding. Hold on. Damn. Oh my goodness.
Damn.
Oh my god.
Damn.
Anyway, but here's the issue though. I looked at their backup funding. She did get money through AIPAC, and the other guy didn't.
No, she did not.
No, she did. She has.
She did
No,
not.
she did. No, she is. There's AIPAC money on her. Yep.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not.
She takes
with
AIPAC.
AIPAC. No, I don't want AIPAC on any candidate. I do think she took around like 2 to 3 million. Correct? That might have been Harris. That took
Harris took in the millions.
No, Harris took way more.
Yeah,
she took like 20-something million. She took a lot.
But Jasmine Crockett took about 400,000
Yeah, Trump's was like in the 100 million. Harris was high, but I think again, my point is, dude, so who's typing in the keyboard? Sorry,
that's
it's
Tom.
like throwing me off.
Sorry.
Oh my Lord.
My whole take of this,
like
I don't. I understand.
That's not true. They're lying.
I understand. What's up?
Do you want to take out the AIPAC tracker? Do you want to bring it up?
I literally just looked it up.
No, I don't know.
I did not see Jasmine Crockett. You can't spread misinformation.
Okay, I'll bring it up for you. I will bring it up for you.
I have it pulled up right now. It says that some trackers claim that she's received approximately $86,000 from broader pro-Israel lobbies. These sources suggest this money comes from bundlers, individuals who collect smaller donations from others to deliver them as a single package rather than the pack itself. So what they're saying, yes, it is. So what they're saying is that AIPAC, what they've started doing recently, because they have bad branding right now, and people get upset if you get money from AIPAC, is they started giving money to other subsidiaries who then will give the money to the person, so that whatever's reported on their campaign finances, whatever's made public, will say something different than AIPAC.
Okay, I'm gonna read it off. I'm gonna read it off. This is
3 more years. Are you gonna survive 3 more years?
Hold on, Jesse. Hold on a second. Crockett says no AIPAC endorsement and no AIPAC money during early
3 more years.
These guys
Holy
have no
shit,
emotional control.
I just,
oh my God. Jesse, I'm gonna ask you one more time. We're just trying to have a normal conversation.
Like, bro, chill out, bro. Like, be an adult.
So this is recorded.
Be an adult.
All right, never mind. So during her early campaigns, pushback about her record on Israel and Gaza, Crocker told reporters she has never been endorsed by AIPAC and rejected claims that AIPAC was backing her. And multiple local outlets relayed her denials that she received the AIPAC support. Left-leaning trackers and independent local reporting have echoed that she has not taken money from AIPAC. There are direct public statements and reportage, not FCC, EC transaction records, but they are consistent across several outlets in the corpus reviewed. I guess you could argue that it's not really clear, but it's definitely not in the millions.
No, it's
not in the millions, and they say that she didn't get it directly. She didn't get the money from AIPAC directly.
It's called bundlers. So specifically speaking, it's called bundlers. Okay, so if you want to get directed, their direct is called PACs, right? PACs are direct funding from AIPAC, but bundlers is different.
Exactly. Yeah. So it can be a little convoluted Especially,
No.
she might not know what's going on at the same time. Yes, you can make
That's
the same.
impossible.
No, you can make the same argument. You can't make the same arguments as far as Chuck Schumer, who is literally advocating for
fuck
is
him.
to go to war right now, in real time. Like, whoa, oh, man, I've been doing this for 20 years. We're gonna keep funding them to make sure they're good. Like, that's not the same.
No, I'm not saying that Jasmine Crockett's views are like hypocritical. I'm not saying that at all.
I know.
What we are saying is that the money that she is getting, even though that she is opposed to these things, at least I hope she is, right? That she does get money from bundling sources that are pro-Israel. So even if that's like me saying, hey, no, that's like me saying, hey, I don't support G-side, and then I turn around and get funding money from the companies that support G-side. Like that wouldn't that sucks. Like, you know.
So if we're being honest right now, if you're a business person or if you're trying to make it in this world right now and to make a difference, how many businesses or like entities can be outright and be like, nah, I don't fuck with Israel? You just can't do that.
You can.
You literally can't.
Mondani,
because they own
Mondani
everything.
is mayor and he's never took any money from it.
Hold on. Wait, Knight, real quick. I just want to say, like, I get what both of you were saying. Like, I don't want AIPAC and
Like, Gavin Newsom's never taken money from AIPAC either.
Yes, he has.
That's bullshit.
Yeah,
No, he
hasn't.
No, he hasn't. No, he has not. Gavin Newsom has never gotten money from AIPAC.
Tell you what, Tom, even if it's not AIPAC directly, to sit up here and say, like, he hasn't probably taken some sort of donation from an Israeli interest group in another form of another package.
No, he hasn't.
I mean, all right, well, let me just finish my
you know
point.
what? I'll look it up.
No, real quick.
So the closest that he's gotten is money from JPAC,
Tom, can I finish
which
my
is
point? Tom, can I please finish my point? Thank you. I just want to say this. Like, my whole argument is this. I don't want AIPAC, obviously, in big politics whatsoever. But I will say, I do believe there is a bias or a level of discrimination in the Democratic Party where Jasmine Crockett would have won, even with the small number of AIPAC she quote-unquote had in her run and while she was running. I just think, like, there is a lot of people in the Democratic Party that were either former AK red-pilled independents that voted Republican at some point in their life and are now pretty much determining the outcomes or for like these Democratic nominations. And I just think it's because we have two highly qualified black women that now have lost elections.
Yeah.
And both times the Democrats that have not come out to vote have been white males and white women in the Democratic Party, quote unquote, the party of progressiveness.
Well, and to add on to that, he was right. Gavin Newsom does not take the IPC nomination, but everything you just said, though,
I'm gonna keep it up.
What's going on, host?
What's up, everybody?
I'm gonna keep it a bug. I don't give a fuck if that nigga takes AIPAC money or not.
Bro, who are
that
you,
nigga
bro?
literally
Say who you voted for, bro. What you
This is bro, nah, but he does. Bro, he's one of the fucking elite that we need out of office, for one. And for two, this motherfucker's rich and he hates homeless people so much. He was uprooting homeless encampments his fucking self.
Oh my goodness, that is such bullshit, dude.
Tom and Knight, I have a question for you real quick. This is important.
What's up?
Is this open panel? Am I waiting to be called on?
Yeah, I got you. Give me 1 second. So both of you said that. No, you didn't say it, Knight. Tom, you said it. You said Newsom has stated he has multiple times he has never received AIPAC money. How come when Jasmine Crockett says she didn't receive AIPAC money, though, you guys push back and argued that she did take it? Because we're just going off Newsom's word now that he didn't take the AIPAC money?
I say I don't like Newsom because he's pro-Israel. I don't fuck with that man. That man's fucking insane. I don't
want to talk
stands with Israel.
To be fair, I do not like Newsom. I do not like Newsom at all. I do not.
America stands with Israel.
No, so Knight explained the concept of bundling, where we know that there are like subsidiary 501c3s that are associated with AIPAC that will donate the money instead, and that Jasmine Crockett does have associations with these subsidiaries. Whereas hold on, please, for the love of fucking God, let me get through the sentence. But Gavin Newsom has taken money from JPAC, which JPAC is not associated with AIPAC. It is a totally entirely separate thing where it is only people advocating for Jews who live in California. It is not about advocating for Israel or Israeli issues.
it's-
No,
It
no,
is
I'm
for
aware. I
Jewish
wasn't speaking
people
okay.
in Israel.
I'm sorry.
That was my original statement, is that in some sort of way, right? Like pro-Jewish, pro-Israel, you name it, he is taking donations. And I'm looking at it here, just alone when he ran for mayor in 2003, his campaign received a $500 APAC as a civic donation. I mean, again, he can state he hasn't, but what I'm trying to get through to you and Knight is that there was pushback on Jasmine Crockett when the claim was made that there was no APAC money taken by her. Why was there such a pushback on a black woman as opposed to a white male saying he never took APAC?
I don't
just
like
said.
either.
I
don't
just
like
said
either
why.
of them. I don't like either of them. Like to be fair, let me iterate my point. I like Jasmine Crockett when it comes to her policies. I fuck with that. I fuck with that hard. Okay, I think
don't,
that she
bro.
is a cool person.
This fucking guy,
right?
he literally
But
doesn't
I do
listen
not
to
feel
anything that's being
comfortable
said.
with the
Holy
Democratic
shit.
Party or any party
I literally
getting
just
any
finished
kind of
explaining
funding through bundles or direct from these people that uphold things like war and genocide, right? That I don't fuck with that, right? This is not even just like like a party thing, because again, you can be like the coolest person that has the best policies, but if I find out that you're getting money through bundles or through APAC, I don't fuck with you. Now, if you're Gavin Newsom, who was like, "Hey, yo, I didn't get any money, but I fuck with Israel," not JPAC. That's different. I'm not talking about JPAC. I'm talking about him actually standing what Israel is doing. Then no.
But
No,
he
I don't fuck with
supports
that
big
either.
tech.
I don't fuck with that. Oh yeah, and that too. I don't fuck no.
He
I don't fuck
Bro,
Gavin Newsom
fuck with that.
supports big tech.
I don't fuck with
If
that.
y'all didn't
bro,
know that.
bro, the amount of hate you have to have in your heart as a rich man, though, to go out of your way and uproot homeless encampments yourself is
That's
crazy.
not true, bro. Holy crap. The homelessness under Gavin
you're telling me
Newsom
he didn't do
has homelessness under Gavin Newsom has been had its largest decline under him. 1, 2, he has
Well, yeah, 'cause
programs
he was
to
taking
house.
over their
Hold on. Just let me. Yes, that's what I'm getting at. 2, he has getting rid of their encampments does not get rid of homeless people. So that's not what that means. 2, he has tons of homeless programs to house homeless people. He is one who has put these in. Has implemented these programs to house homeless people. And then lots of times when they house the homeless people, then yes, they tear down their encampments that are sitting in the middle of public property, in the middle of parks and in streets and sidewalks and shit. Yeah, but they're putting them in houses. They're like, this is not some big problem. This is not some horrible thing. On top of that, also Gavin Newsom has been very critical of Israel. I like Jasmine Crockett. I did support her over I live in Atlanta, not in Texas, so it doesn't matter all that much, but I did like Jasmine Crockett. But also Gavin has been very critical of Netanyahu, of Israel, what they've been doing in Gaza. So like he is not I don't feel like this is an accurate way of portraying him.
But didn't he
Tom,
post on his feed saying that we stand with Israel? Wasn't that like a complete thing that he did?
Tom, you got to be fair though. While you're saying that Newsom solved the problem, don't forget, like at some points it did skyrocket 62% homelessness in California.
I didn't say he solved the problem.
Don't get me wrong.
I didn't say he solved the problem. That's
no. I'm just saying he
I
also
didn't say
part of the
solved.
problem. You know, I want to say like I don't want to like I as much as I would disagree with Newsom, I will vote for him if he's the Democratic nominee over JD Vance. I mean, it's
yeah. I don't think he fixed the problem. I even think that housing the homeless was like a bad program, and I don't think that it's like a good long term.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I just don't think it's a good long-term solution when the majority of these people deal with mental illness, and they should be getting treatment for their mental illness, or they deal with, even more prominently, they deal with a lot of addiction problems, where if you put them in a house, all you're doing is just giving them a more easy time to use and to have like a safe place to use, which makes their addiction often even deeper. These people need like actual processes that they have to abide by.
That's not necessarily true unless you've been through it.
No, he's talking about the long-term cases of homeless people getting having issues, right? Just for clarification, right? I travel. I mainly am stationed in Chicago, where homelessness is really big over there, right? And the thing that we do, right, specifically within the Chicago area, is that they recognize that there is a really big, huge issue when it comes to homelessness and mental illness, right? That a lot of people, even though that you give them a home, that doesn't cure what they're going through mentally, right?
Correct.
And when it comes to just stationing them in the house, congratulations, yes, they have a house, but they still have their mental illness. That's not being taken. That's not being
guys,
taken care of. Right.
I get what you're saying, but I mean, it is case, but like I will say, the number one cause of homelessness is mental illness and addiction, right? I mean, sorry, those two things are too high
Correct.
metrics. But I will
Correct.
say this, I will say you can't to say that housing homeless people is not necessarily a solution when what most Americans are one paycheck away from being homeless. Like that narrative is starting to change. Like
Absolutely.
you could make that argument maybe 10 years ago, but the average American is living paycheck to paycheck.
What Tom said is that it's not a long-term solution. That's what he said.
I think
Correct.
providing housing long term to people that are paycheck away. I mean, I can say because in New York City we have like what's called the lottery. So it doesn't really. I mean, to a degree, it depends on your income, but it helps people that are maybe making like 50, 60K in like arguably the most expensive city in the U.S. be able to get a home and something that they have equity in. Because most of the times people can't afford a home, even they can't afford a home or they're one paycheck away from being homeless. So this gives them a step up. It provides long-term housing because now they're part of a lottery where they don't necessarily need to put like 30% down for a home in New York City. So I think housing.
Well, I wanted to reply to Pineapple because one, you said like unless you've been through it. One, I have been through it. I've been homeless. I'm a recovered heroin addict. I've been to prison. I've been through a lot of these things. But on top of that, this is also like a just confirmed by like studies and statistics. Is just that we end up furthering the problems and making it more likely that people end up like unaliving in these scenarios. Lots of times they have even not just substance abuse, but physical abuse problems. And we end up housing them with other people who are not homeless people in a program, and they're in the same apartments and putting people in dangerous scenarios. And so the long-term solution is like rehab and help for these people with the actual problems that are causing the homelessness in the first place, not just putting them in a house.
I don't disagree with you at all. We need to actually rehabilitate people, especially when we send them to jail, and if it's not like a murder charge or anything, we can rehabilitate these people and whatnot. So
yeah, well, the reason that I brought this up is to make it clear that I'm not just simping for Newsom. I do have problems with the way that he's dealt with homeless people. I just want to make it clear that like while saying he's tearing up encampments is like a really bad misinterpretation of what's happening there, doesn't mean that I agree with the way he did it.
I don't believe that. I mean, some people do. I mean, it's videos of him going around, walking up to homeless encampments. Yeah, I can see where people be like, oh, we got coyotes out here. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah, I know. It's okay.
Yeah, that sounds funny. That's wild.
Well, I mean, I got to say this, Tom. Like, I'm not disagreeing with like the metrics you're referring to, but I will say this: there is even racial inequality when it comes to homelessness in this country. And I will say, like, predominantly, like you can find studies on this too. African Americans end up homeless due to one, it could be discrimination in the workplace, and obviously but not being able to make the same level of wages compared to counterparts. Like you could argue mental illness maybe for like other Democrats, but if it's, let's be honest, like African Americans in this country, 9 times out of 10 are homeless not because of mental illness, but because of social inequality.
That's not true either.
That is absolutely. Are you saying black people do not have there's not studies showing that they have a harder time in the
No, there is a disproportionate amount of social. No, there is a disproportionate amount of financial inequality, but that's not true. That the majority of them. No, you said the majority of them. You did. You said
there is more financial. You can look up studies of this, my guy. There is
okay. Financial inequality is the problem for all people who are homeless, but it's the drug addiction and other things that cause the financial inequality.
Hold on, please. As a from a black woman's perspective, I will say this: unfortunately, when it comes to specifically like our community, when it comes to diagnosing mental illnesses, we do not get diagnosed as much. It can be from several reasons, right? It can be from us not taking mental illness seriously, which does fucking suck. That happens within a lot of communities, right? Or when it comes to healthcare and the what was it? The affordable healthcare of us getting diagnosed in general, as well, is also very lowered within the Black community, and that's why you don't really see a lot of diagnoses of mental illness within the Black community because of those reasons, right? Which again can be subjugated to people like us being homeless, right? It doesn't have to be specifically from us, like, you know, pumping out drugs, right? Obviously not, right? But
100%
that is also a case when it comes to mental illness because of the hardships of us having access because of the financial inequalities within this country from things like systemic racism and stuff like that within the medical
Correct.
within the medical section, as well as financial within jobs.
Yeah, same with drug diagnosis and addiction diagnoses.
But
As well.
Right, because they don't take us seriously. Yes, I know. Yes.
But no one's arguing. Like, that's a whole different conversation itself. I actually know that firsthand. But no one's like. I think we have to be really clear here, Tom. There is, and I'll use your term, right? Financial inequalities towards African Americans, right, compared to other demographics or races in this country, that cause homelessness, right? 40%, I think it was the last time I checked, it was like 40% of homelessness is 40% are African Americans. You could argue a percentage, obviously have mental illness, addictions, etc. But to sit here and say that some of it isn't at a higher rate of financial inequality compared to other races, you and I both know is not true.
I didn't say not a higher rate. I agree. I don't know why you do this each time.
I just
change
want to
your
make sure we're on
argument
the
once
same
I
page
disagree
here,
with you.
because it's crazy.
But we have to get on the same page. If you actually keep the same argument and then say, okay,
Well,
I was
I
wrong
said
on
this from
this,
the
I
jump,
shouldn't
my
have
guy.
said that. No, you didn't. You said the majority of Black people are homeless for a different reason,
There's
which is
studies. I mean, I can pull up some of them if you'd like. I can absolutely pull up
that say the
studies.
majority. That the problem is that so it's kind of what Knight was just
economic
explaining a second
factors?
ago is that yes. So there's going to be like a difference in proportionality, but the majority of Black people who end up becoming homeless also have issues with mental illness and drug addiction.
I'm
but
not shocked,
because
Gills.
they are
I'm not
more
shocked.
likely. Because they are more likely to be homeless with those factors. So, like, let's say there's a white person and a Black person.
Tom.
Hold on, just let me please. Please.
No,
we're not. I don't think we're
because I don't think you're
disagreeing.
following
I don't.
correctly.
We're not. No. I don't. I promise you, I am. And you're not engaging with what I'm saying. So I promise you, we have a separation here in what we're saying. Initially you said the majority, and I'm saying that it can be both. Okay, so listen to what I'm saying. So a Black person who ends up going homeless and a white person who ends up going homeless. Let's say these are the average white person, the average Black person. The average Black person is more likely to end up going homeless because they already have some level of discrimination and in financial inequality.
Economic instability, Tom. Key word
to where
here. Economic instability for African Americans and their average net worth compared to white people are night and day, which ergo correlates to homelessness, Tom. This is simple mathematics, my guy.
Which can also correlate.
Again, you are not disagreeing with me. I don't know why you won't listen to what I'm saying instead of continuing to argue with shit that I'm not saying. You can just listen instead of continuing to be so fucking ignorant. You can engage with what I'm saying at one point. At some fucking point, you haven't listened to a fucking thing I've said the whole time, motherfucker. You haven't listened to a single thing I've said. Just listen.
Gills,
Is a white man-
It's not that hard.
Is the MAGA showing, Tom?
Hold on. Both of you guys are right. Holy
Wow,
shit.
the MAGA?
Like, I'ma be
You're
for-
so
I'ma be for
fucking
real.
stupid, bro.
Hold on,
You
hold
really
on,
are one of the
please,
dumbest
please,
motherfuckers I've ever met. You being a liberal does not help you here.
Yeah, listen,
You're just
you are
too
not a
fucking
liberal,
stupid
Tom.
to
You're
listen.
not a liberal.
You're
Oh
too
my God,
fucking
that's
stupid
purple.
to
You
listen.
sound
You
red
have no
velvet.
fucking
What the
idea what
fuck?
you're
Hold on,
talking
wait,
about.
first of all,
You
hold
have
on,
no
he's not.
fucking
First of
idea
all,
what
you
you're
guys are
talking about.
both
You're
right.
talking out your
I would
ass,
argue
dude.
differently.
You guys are both right. Why are you
I
guys
know we
arguing?
agree.
You guys are
He
both
won't
right.
listen. We do
Yo.
agree.
I'm
He
more
won't
interested-
listen.
Hold on, guys. I'm more interested in the Gills down here saying there's videos of Tom saying the N-word. I would love to know where that's
No, there's
coming from.
not.
Also,
No, there's not.
As,
Pull
Tom,
that
as
up.
a white
Pull that
man,
up.
You shouldn't,
Yes, there is. You literally
Tom,
Pull
as a
that
white
up.
man, you should not.
Pull that up, then. You fucking
It's
liar.
coming out.
Pull it
It's
up.
coming out slowly. It's coming out. I mean,
Yeah,
Tom,
pull it
as
up.
a white man, you should
Pull it
not
up.
call all of
Literally
us
got-
black people ignorant.
You literally got roasted by good
Oh,
trouble.
brother, shut
Both
up.
of your type of shit.
Yeah, good trouble roasted you.
No, wait, Gills, hold on.
Good trouble
Did he
roasted
really
me?
say? I don't want to make a charge on somebody if they didn't really say it.
No, I
Right.
didn't say it.
And also, again, you guys are both right. I'm not really sure what this weird argument thing is.
No,
Is that
Tom,
That's what I'm telling him.
Tom, Tom,
I'm telling him
listen.
we agree on what he's
Tom,
saying.
Tom keeps
He won't listen.
backtracking initially from his statement. Then he tried to tell me, "Oh, you said the majority." I did say the majority, and I have studies to back it up too. No one's disagreeing with you, Tom, that there is a percentage that suffer from mental illness or addiction, etc. But what I'm getting at to you is you made a claim earlier that I don't agree with giving housing out because most of them are from mental illness and addiction. That doesn't solve the long-term problem. I said that does for African Americans that are essentially suffering from those economic instabilities or inequalities. Providing housing to African Americans, Tom, that suffer from those things is a good long-term play. I think that's a positive for Newsom. For you, it looks like a white male from your picture to say that to offer up housing towards African Americans that are suffering from those things is counterproductive from being progressive or moving forward as a party.
But that's what he said. Whoa, first of all.
No, I'm giving that. I'm saying that. I never said
No,
he
no,
said
but
that.
that- but that is what
I'm
it
trying
is.
to explain to him why that's a benefit to provide housing to those people.
Can I just from an outside perspective, can I understand? Can I explain why he's saying that from a long-term perspective? It wouldn't work when it comes to the individual's health, right? When it comes to people, especially within the Black community, like I'm in, right, where because we have financial do not have financial equality towards our other race counterparts, right? We do not have access to things like equal care to healthcare and diagnoses, right? If we do get housing, which would be a plus, right? Those financial inequalities will still be there. So when it comes to things like diagnosing things like mental illness or having a schmug problem, that still is going to affect the community, which is going to harm Black people like me. Right? That is what he's saying, is that when it comes to long term, if there is no rehabilitation offered, like Gavin Newsom did not do, then it's not going to help people, especially for people in the Black community, to actually recover. That is what he's saying.
So no, Knight. I listen. I hear what both of you are saying. I'm saying for a demographic of African Americans, though, that suffer from it, we take mental illness and addiction out the picture because we can look at studies, but I'm pretty sure it's higher in other demographics compared to African Americans. But you're right, a lot of it goes undiagnosed.
It is.
But I want to be very clear what I'm saying. Economic instability that African Americans suffer from. Housing is a good long-term play in that case. To sit here and say that African Americans that have lived in gentrified neighborhoods or have been priced out or were discriminated in the workplace to get those wages to be able to afford a home, and then turn around as a white person and say, well, that's not a good play to give them housing because they probably are undiagnosed with something. I'm not saying he's saying that, but if that's your level of thinking, that's saying they're all undiagnosed with mental health problems, that comes off as one inherently racist to say all African Americans who are homeless suffer from those things instead of realizing that a good majority of them are suffering from economic instability and that housing is a good long-term play for them.
And to be fair, he never made that claim. He never made that claim.
Well, no, I never said he did. I'm just explaining to you guys why I think it's actually a positive.
Okay.
Yeah, so
that's fine.
the argument
okay.
that I was trying to
I
make
agree.
though is that these are separate issues, and that what I was trying to say when I was saying that there's like the average white person who's going to have less economic instability, and then the average Black person who will have more economic instability. That when they have the drug addictions or some sort of mental illness, that those things will make it even easier for them to go homeless, and that they'll go homeless faster. But these are separate things to where when you look at the Black homeless population or the white homeless population, they will both majority have some sort of mental illness or drug addiction.
Where are you getting that
and so
report
I'm saying that they're both.
Where are you getting that report that majority of African Americans are homeless? It's because of mental illness.
There's a study that breaks them down by demographic from let me pull it up real quick. I've got it in a doc. Here, I'll mute myself while I type. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you right here, 37% of African Americans unhoused persons due to longstanding laws and policies adversely affecting Black communities, which technically could fall under economic instability.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's why I'm saying they're compounding problems.
No, Tom, you just said mental health reasons and addiction for African
Correct.
Americans.
That's why I
Not-
don't think
not-
I don't know
okay,
why you're
you're-
not listening
oh
to
my
what I'm
goodness.
saying. We agree on that point. Well, I'm disagreeing with you on a different point to say these are compounding problems, to say that they are separate issues, to where 1 plus 2 makes it more likely that they will go homeless and easier for them to go homeless than it is for a white person.
I'll agree to disagree. I feel like you're backtracking. You just said majority
Oh my
were from
goodness.
mental health reasons and addiction, and I'm
Yes,
saying
correct.
no. It's
Yes.
because no. Then we're not saying the same thing. Then I'm saying
We
it's
are.
because of policy adversely affecting African Americans, whether that's
I'm saying that
discrimination,
too.
lack of DEI, things like that come into play that make it
Okay,
harder for African Americans to one, afford a home,
Yes.
or be one paycheck away from being homeless.
Yes, I understand. So my disagreement with you is that you keep putting these two issues into a dichotomy where it is one or the other. And I'm telling you, you're correct that it is economic instability, but that because of the economic instability, if they have a mental illness or a drug addiction, this makes it even easier for them to go homeless because they already have the economic instability. And so I'm saying
No, Tom,
that
I
yes,
think
the
you're missing
majority
the
of
point.
them
I'm talking
will
about from
have
financial.
economic instability, and
economic
I'm saying that
stems from financial,
that's what
buddy.
I'm agreeing. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
No, you're not.
That's
Okay,
what I'm
I don't
saying.
think we're agreeing. No, I don't think.
Can
we
you
are.
tell me
I'm
what
sorry.
my argument is?
Wait,
Tell me
we
what
have a
my
question. I have a
argument is,
question. I have a
please.
question. If
Wait, I
so,
would really
have
like to hear him because I don't think he knows my stance, and it drives me
that's why
crazy every
I
time
asked
he
the
argues
question,
against
'cause
something I'm not saying.
that's why I'm asking the question. So I feel like we're not going to get lost in the weeds, right? Because I feel like we're picking out things that is not supposed to be even said within this argument because of the dichotomy of the situation. Okay, so would you agree that when it comes to Black District for the host, would you agree that Black people have more of a financial what was it?
Disadvantage.
Disadvantage
So,
compared to
yeah.
white people, right?
You're
You agree
asking
with
me
that?
or him?
You.
So
Oh
he's
yeah,
been saying.
110%.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, cool.
That's what my argument
amazing.
is.
Amazing. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. If a Black person does not have these issues, right? If they do not have any of these issues, them getting housing would be a benefit, correct?
Are you saying if they have mental health issues?
If they
or
don't
addiction
have
issues?
these issues, yes. If they don't have these issues,
Oh, if they, I mean,
it would be
beneficial. I mean, I'll
beneficial,
answer it
right?
like this because I don't want like my Tom down there to get confused. I don't think if you're talking about long-term housing in a safe manner where they're getting the help they need, the rehabilitation, then yes, it's a good play. If Newsom is just basically
Hey.
saying, well, here's a house and good luck to you, like obviously no, that's not the best play. But I think we're missing the bigger picture of my point is that if African Americans are suffering from economic instability and these pretty much corporation discrimination in the workplace, not being able to get the same wages, a majority of them, and I can pull up multiple studies for this. I was trying to read one before. You can even check out in Oxford, there's many studies on this, that the number one reason for homelessness for African Americans, why it's such a higher percentage, is because of financial instability. It's not because of addiction and mental health. Now, the percentage that it is, yes, you could argue that providing long-term housing might not be the best play, but for a majority of African Americans, it is beneficial to get that housing.
And again, that is the case when it comes to Black people who do not have those issues. I agree with that. The issue that Tom is trying to portray is that if you have these issues, regardless of race, let's just say in the case this person is Black and you have these issues, you have a higher chance to become homeless again or worse because of these issues not being rehabilitated, like within Gabby Newsom's case, where
Right.
he's not giving them rehab. That is exactly what Tom is talking
Right.
about.
So no, and again, I'll say it for like the 10th time. No one misunderstood what Tom was saying. But what I'm saying is to say, well, it's not a good play because again, we can go over study to study. The largest percentage reason that African Americans is homeless is because of financial instability. So I think it's very dangerous terms to tread on to say, well, the housing is not a good idea because, there's 15% that suffer from addiction and mental illness. I mean, but just forget about the other 85% that it's because financial instability. I think that's a dangerous narrative.
He never.
No, that's what I'm
made that
saying.
claim.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying.
But
that.
no one made that claim. I'm very confused on why you're arguing with Tom. He never made that claim.
No, Tom actually
That's
did
what
make
I
the
keep
claim.
saying.
He said no, he absolutely did. He said the percentage of mental illness and addiction is just as high as the financial instability. He absolutely said that.
Wait, no, I did not. I did not say that.
Where did
okay.
that
I did not
come
say that.
from?
I didn't say that. I said that you.
I feel like
what I keep saying is that these are compounding.
Okay. I mean,
listen,
I feel like this guy
just
backtracks
let me
a lot.
say
I
it
don't know.
without you. Okay. So what I've said from the beginning is that these are compounding problems, in that because black
after you,
people
Shira's
do
gonna go.
have,
By the way, sorry.
I was just saying that they are compounding problems, and that because there is systemic racism within the black community, that if they deal with similar issues to a white person, white people have an easier safety net to where they are less likely to end up going homeless. Black people, because they have more economic instability, that if they deal with something like drug addiction, that makes it easier for them to go homeless.
Okay,
and I kept
Tom,
saying these are compounding problems
but
to
I
where
feel
it's
like you
not
change
one
your
or the
position
other.
like every other sentence.
That was the,
I have it on my stream. I have it on my
I feel
stream.
like
You
this
can go
guy-
back to
and I
every
feel
single
like
time
Knight-
I've said
Knight-
it.
and
I've
I
said
mean
the
this
same
like-
exact thing.
I know you didn't. I know what you said. You literally said that the percentage of mental illness and addiction is just as high as the financial instability of African Americans. But
Where did
I
he
want to
say
say, I want to wait. Can we let Shira go? I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah,
Shira's
go
raising her hand.
ahead. Sure. I'm just confused where you said that, but go ahead, Shira.
It's not that confusing. I think it's pretty basic. What
I
was
never
getting
said
at.
it.
I mean, you did. You absolutely did. Sorry. Go ahead, Shira. Sorry.
Hi.
What's up? What's up?
Isn't it great that someone like Mamdani hired a guy like Stanley Richards, a former incarcerated black man, to deal with this problem in the city of New York?
It's beautiful.
Oh yeah.
In Mandami,
Isn't it a beautiful thing that someone was so progressive to see the plight of the black American man, especially those that were incarcerated, knowing that a lot of times they either do end up homeless or reincarcerated?
Thank you.
And like
Thank you.
they're going to be they're going to have this part of their journey handled by someone who did it successfully.
Well, I mean, according to Tom, we have to be careful about providing them housing because in the long term, good percentage of them are just have as much mental health illness and addiction as
And
you said, like
Jesus
these former
Christ.
felons, and these people that don't get a fair shot, especially after being incarcerated and serving.
Right.
their time.
Where does he say? Okay.
So hiring
It's
someone like Stanley Richards, who's been there, who understands the mental health issues, the all of these issues because he lived it. Like, what an amazing mayor, right?
Yeah, he's the
Also,
best
according to
American.
Tom, Gavin Newsom's the answer to all of this.
Tom is a white person telling us that housing for financial inequality is not a good thing. So we should probably go by that.
I'm okay.
You gotta
I'm sorry.
be
I'm
trolling,
sorry. Oh my
dude.
god.
You
I'm
gotta
sorry.
be
He
trolling.
Just to FYI,
Oh
Knight,
my
I'm
god.
also a black. I'm also a black
He
man.
literally said, "I'm sorry." I'm sorry. He
Yeah,
literally
so we can
said
play
that in
that
the
card.
case of what Gavin Newsom is doing, it's bad because there's no rehab. Holy
He was
shit!
trolling.
Please.
No, Knight,
that guy.
I know.
That
No,
guy
so
was
Knight,
trolling.
I get.
He was trolling.
I'm
there's
gonna
like
lose my mind.
Yeah,
Like, oh
that's
my god.
fine because I think we're repeating ourselves. So, Knight, I think between you and Tom, I can't tell who needs to keep up more because no one again, and I'll say it again for like the 10th time. No one is arguing that there is not a percentage of African Americans or anybody in any race that do not suffer from sort of mental illness and addiction. What I'm saying is, and I'll make it very clear, I don't want to hear, well, Tom never said that. I'm saying this, that a good percentage of African Americans would benefit from Newsom's plan if it's providing long-term housing, because it's not mental illness and addiction that's the main cause of homelessness in African American community. It is financial inequality. Is that clear enough? I don't know how to make it any
Yes,
clearer.
that is very clear. Yes,
That's what I've been
super
saying
clear.
like the past 20 times.
Okay.
I do want to follow up with another question. Because I jumped on 25 minutes ago, but y'all were just talking in circles, so I just sat back. Can someone confirm this for me? Because I feel like I was on a live yesterday and I was proven wrong. But you guys just brought it up again, so I want to make sure either I'm wrong or I'm right. We talked about Jasmine Crockett taking APAC money, and I had made the claim that she did, and someone pulled up resources saying she didn't.
Okay, so basically what we're talking about is that she took bundles, not specifically through direct PACs, but she has taken money from APAC, giving it to other companies, and then and then those companies who are supporting APAC giving money to her, which would be included in bundles. So it would be included within the APAC tracker that she did get money from them. But is it directly from PACs? No. That's it. That's all. That's all.
Mind you, they said Gavin Newsom didn't take APAC money because he said he didn't. But when
I just
Jasmine
don't like
Crockett
him.
said
That's
she-
not what we
Yeah.
said. You
That-
don't go
Tom,
based on
that's
what people
literally
say.
what she said on
These
that
money.
episode.
I think I'm glad someone else
just to be
called it
clear,
out because
just to be
I feel
clear.
like this guy keeps
Okay.
backtracking.
Okay, just to be clear, just to be clear, I never said that. So money that you take from
that
PACs
seems
or
to be
any
the
sort of
narrative.
donation
Tom never
for
said
your
that.
Yeah, sure. You have the ability to clip all this, and I would love to see you clip it and put it out, showing that I'm lying and that I did say the things that I keep denying. I said I challenge you to do it.
I'm
at
not
some
going
point.
to
I
do
would
that,
love
but
to see it.
I'm
But I
pretty
know
sure-
you're
do
not.
have
I know
one
you're
more
not. So I
when
wanted
Tom's
to
done
just clarify the one when it comes to Jasmine, we don't know for a fact that she took money from from like one of these subsidiaries. The money is always, when it comes to PACs or anything that's donated to a campaign
You said
or
she
something
took
like that.
APAC
These are
money originally. That was your
501c3s.
claim.
It's okay. You can clip that too. But
I'll say,
hold on.
We
My
absolutely said
just
that.
My
sorry,
understanding.
so what I said is that it's not.
Hold on, Tom. Hold on. My understanding is 501(c)(3)s cannot donate to political organizations. It is against the policy to hold a 501(c)(3).
501c3s are
Yeah. So 501(c)(3)s
not
are
allowed-
charitable organizations that cannot they cannot show political affiliation in any capacity. You cannot hold a 501(c)(3).
sorry. I'm sorry. A 501c4 is a PAC. Sorry, I was.
Okay, so that's
they
a
have
totally
the-
different.
yeah.
That's a totally different
yeah.
tax bracket.
Yeah, you're right. So the point that I was making though is
usually
that
am.
they have to all of this has to come out in like tax information, like it has to be given to the IRS, and so we don't guess or we don't say like, oh, Gavin Newsom said this. We can literally just look at tax records and see what was donated.
So can you go to the FEC.gov and tell me where Gavin Newsom got his money from? Because all of it needs to be documented in the FEC website. And then Gil, you've been sitting up here for a hot minute. Like, who do you support? Why'd you join us?
He's a liberal.
Okay. So is Tom a conservative?
Well, Gil said that Tom said
No,
the
I'm-
N-word, but
I'm a
I don't know if he was. I don't know.
They're not going to show
Tom
evidence
is
of
dead
that.
conservative.
Tom definitely called us slow though.
Pineapple, you're a
Oh
conservative?
my goodness.
Did I hear that correctly?
Gil,
No,
where did you hear Tom say the N-word?
He's just stirring up the pot. I don't.
Yeah, they're
unless someone
trolling.
has full up proof.
Gil,
then I don't care.
wait, Gil, are you making that up or?
This was off of a Mercedes
he's
live. He
making
was
that up.
confronted on this one. Yeah, he was
On a
with
Mercedes line.
Okay, if you can bring it up, that will be. If you can bring it up, that would be fantastic.
Why would Gil's?
We can get
about it.
Okay.
Why would my boy Gil's lie?
Okay,
Yeah, why
okay.
would he
Oh,
make that
my,
up?
oh my
That's
gosh,
a
I
crazy
don't
claim.
care. I don't care about stirring the pot. Okay, I feel like people who stir pot accusing racism is just as bad as the racist people. Okay,
I mean,
literally
you're saying
stop.
he's accusing. How do we know it's
just to
not
be clear,
true?
I think it's possible. Like there was an argument. We had a debate on there a while ago about what there were people who were saying they should be allowed to say the N-word, and I was debating them, saying that you shouldn't say the N-word. But I did say numerous times that I grew up saying the N-word, and maybe that's what they're saying. Grew up saying the N-word.
All right, well, you gotta drop down with that shit. I mean, he's not in any position to tell people.
I told y'all.
That's all I needed to hear.
Interesting. There was clips about him really trying to debate the N-word with an A, with
Right.
the N-word with a
Right.
hard R.
You're out of your fucking mind.
I
dude.
told you, is literally white from TikTok. I told you.
That's all I needed.
Yo,
That's all I
shout
needed
out,
to
hey,
hear.
shout out to you, bruh. Shout out to you.
I am not going
Gills.
to get gaslit about this.
Shout out to
Gills came in with a fucking mission, dog.
Okay,
You know the best part? The best part is Gil just sat here, just like me, but Gil sat here for like 20 minutes not saying a fucking word. And
Gil
the minute
lied.
he goes off mute, he just drops the bomb.
Right. Like I'm sorry. Just like if you're gonna say something this super duper important, just fucking say it. I hate when people stir the pot. I'm very happy that you got this out of the way. Holy shit.
Yeah, I
Shit's
wanted
annoying.
to.
It's not stirring the
trying
pot.
to find it.
No,
And
I'm just saying if that was your
Yo, Tom, hold on. What makes you think you're qualified in any position to tell people who can and can't say the N-word?
saying that they shouldn't say the N-word? You're saying that
Who are you to tell?
debating
Who are you to
white
tell
people?
black people if they can say the N-word or not?
I didn't say it to black people. I said it,
It
to
was
white
it was
people.
it was I know what
It was
Penny
white
Penny
people.
No,
was
I don't
talking
care
about.
if it was to white people. Who are you to tell?
For it was hey, is it okay for a certain group of people to say the N-word? And if so, blah 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 blah. I've been in that panel before.
Y'all not being
I know
specific. So you're beating around the bush. You guys are being vague.
Yeah,
What
seriously.
certain group of people?
Oh, wait,
was,
it depends.
there
I
was a
in
girl
two
named
different
Kyla.
panels.
Yeah, there was Kyla.
No, wait, Tom.
It was Mercedes.
I'm sorry, Tom. I just want a simple question. Are you under the? You think you have authority to tell black people if they can say the N-word or not? Is that what you're getting at?
No. Where did you get that from?
I'm asking you. I'm asking you. And you said you grew up saying the N-word.
I grew up in an all-black neighborhood and went to an all-black
All right,
church, and
there
it
you
was
go.
just common in
Tokenize.
my community. I grew up in an all-black neighborhood and went to an
All right,
all-black.
there you go. Tokenize.
Bro,
All right, there you go.
Hold on, don't drop him. Oh my
Right, I was
God.
about to say, did he know? Was it like, hey yo, they said it, so I said
No, I
it?
grew up,
Like, I don't.
but like that's your
Hold
that's
on
your
now,
logic.
hold on.
Okay.
Because
Right, I don't think it's an excuse for his behavior.
It's not an excuse, but at times, like it do be that one, that one white boy that's just so happen to be in the hood, So he might let it slide. But,
I feel like Gil, and correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like he was trying to tell people who could and couldn't say the N-word.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get more answers out of
No,
it.
he basically the prompt was basically saying, hey, should people like this, people who are not black, should say the N-word, right? Obviously, the answer would be no, right? They shouldn't, right? Especially within this historical context.
I mean,
no.
I don't think Gills would get confused with that. Like, if you're telling white people they shouldn't say the N-word, yeah, I'm in agreement with you. But it
Right.
sounded like Gills, you're saying he said the N-word in there?
Yeah, no, this was off of one of his personal lives that he did, where he was trying to compare the severity between the N-word with the A and the N-word with a hard R, and he was saying the N-word with the A.
Yeah, hold on.
Wait.
Yo.
Okay, but is this true? I want to.
Can we get him back up here?
Yeah, can you let him back up? I'm actually very curious.
I let him up, but I think he knows he got caught, so now he doesn't want to come up anymore. He definitely knows. He's in the chat. He's just not trying to come up now because he got caught.
He
definitely got
Tom,
caught.
come say it with your chest.
You did boot my man twice.
Got him.
He is wiped it from the internet, and there were clips of him saying it.
Can we just pull up the clip then? I don't know why we're doing this.
Right, like I'm saying,
Zim.
I
want to debate. Shut up, Zim. Go somewhere else if you want to debate, bruh. This is not even.
I still want to debate about Gavin Newsom because I'm very confused on how a lot of, because like, for example, right,
Wait,
personally,
before we change topics, I just want to clarify. So I'm not allowed to say the N-word. I just want to make sure.
I mean, I don't know. Are you black? I don't know. Thank God.
To make this beautiful hard that you can't see the screen. For demonstrations. I go. It is a crowd, but I stay a little back.
I was actually impressed. I thought, damn, dude, it's been a while since somebody did some of this shit, jumping on and pulling this shit.